There you go.
I'd like to call to order this meeting, of the Broome County Industrial Development Agency of August 21st, 2024. Looking for a motion to approve the minutes of the July 17th, 2024 board meeting. Thank you, Dan. Is there a second? Joe, thank you. Any discussion? Let's have a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Come to the part of our agenda where we have our public comment session. Anybody wishing to speak on any matter concerning the agency, please feel free to state your name and address for the record and limit your comments to 5 minutes.
Okay, I'm John Solak, I live in Binghamton. Again, for the benefit of the full board, Stacy Duncan is listed on the Greater Binghamton Chamber of Commerce 990 form. It's available to you. She's listed as working 40 hours a week for the chamber, salary of $86,000. These tax returns are signed under penalty, prepared professionally. So the question is, how is Stacy Duncan working at 40 hours a week at the Chamber of Commerce and working at the IDA? I've looked at the agreement. It doesn't seem to allow it. Can't find any record of any allowance made by this board. And how does she do it? How does she do it? How does she work? And who's getting defrauded? So that is something that I think immediately needs to be addressed. As far as mixed use projects go, from 50 Front Street, which has been vacant, half of it, more than half of it, these mixed use projects never seem to pan out. Elaine had, what's that, 435? So when you say mixed use, and you use the mixed use as a job creation number, if it goes years and years without with a vacancy, then, what does that tell you? On the First Ward Action Council, and question for John too, how many units can one organization manage effectively? And what are the succession plans for these organizations? In Elmira, there was that one management company, nonprofit, been there for years. They decided not to pay the utility bills, $300,000 or $400,000, and the tenants are stuck. So it's all in the management. And home flipping is big. These people in Albany, they started with $80,000 worth of credit card debt. Husband and wife, they needed to do something, so they started buying and repairing those brownstones or whatever they are. And they've made millions. Is the lack of home flipping in Broome County due to the land bank, due to all these nonprofits in that section of the business world? Because we don't seem to be, and there's nothing quicker as far as rejuvenation and revitalization than private home flipping. Blam, 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 they're done, other people come in. So I wonder what what effect that has to discouraging people. You're not gonna be able to compete against the First Ward Action Council. You're not gonna be able to compete against any of these nonprofits. I know that somebody did come here for that building across from the high school that didn't pan out. So that's interesting. Now on the university, I was at the job fair. Joe was there. The truck CDL thing, but it was interesting because most of the outfits that were there were Medicaid-driven nonprofit government subcontractors. So I said, well, where's the industry? I don't know, Randall, I didn't see your sign there, but anyway, so it's interesting to me. And the university wasn't there. It's interesting, and it's a very mysterious process that the university has for hiring. Someone's in the media and they leave on a Friday and they're at the university on a Monday. Somebody is unsuccessful in local government, and lo and behold, there's a regime change and they're at the university. So it's interesting that the university wasn't at the job fair when they're supposed to be the drivers of this economy. There's a controversy in Rochester, and how much time have I got?
One more minute.
One more minute, okay. Urban renewal was a failed science, if you want to know. It was Robert Moses did it with highways, moved people around. There's block busting, that thing. But, you know, in Rochester, there's an interesting thing because, essentially people that go to the government meetings here are alleging a conspiracy between the university and the healthcare organizations to drive them out. And they're the people that have lived in Rochester, you know, for 100 years or 200 years. And I wonder why these, like say Center Plaza, for example, why is that all student housing? Why, if there's a housing crisis, why aren't somebody insisting in the city of Binghamton that they set aside units for community residents? But it's either all student housing or it's, you know, all income related housing, but there doesn't seem to be a mixed use. So I think there's a concentrated effort by the university to shuffle people out of Binghamton as it is in Rochester.
Thank you, John. Would anybody else like to speak at this public comment session?
Yes, please.
Sir,
Just stand up over here anywhere.
yeah,
My name is Art Robinson. I am councilman of town of Maine. I'd first like to start by thanking Stacy for, how do I want to say? Working with some of our residents who were opposed to your airport road project, back when you had your scoping session. I greatly appreciate you allowing them to come up on the JC school and, hand out informational pamphlets. I guess it's the right term. So I want to thank you for that. I had a great conversation with you during the meeting, everything like that. I thought your presentation was good presentation. The number of positive comments were dwarfed greatly by the number of negative comments on that. And it's a shame because if this project was located in an area that was zoned industrial in our town, I think the conversation would be going in a much more different direction. The one thing that we discussed was, I asked Stacy, said, when you guys are done with your engineering period, where you got your $500,000 of taxpayer money to do the engineering for this project, move forward with it, and you come to our town and ask us for a rezoning on the parcel. If we say no, what are you gonna do? And Stacy indicated you would go away. I'm like, okay, fair. So I asked her, so you put that in writing. So I'm here today to ask this board if you would please put that in writing for my town. Because as the board sits right now, we will not rezone that property. It's not gonna happen. It's spot zoning, it's illegal in New York State. I have no problem with you guys moving forward with your engineering, doing your studies and everything like that. I'm kind of interested to see how that's gonna play out, see what you're gonna find. But, and again, I've had a conversation with Stacy and former Mayor Bucci made a comment here quite a while ago that you guys really didn't go about this the right way. It would have been very advantageous for you to come to the town first and say, listen, this is what we're proposing to do. And more than likely, there still would have been pushback, but there wouldn't have been the distrust amongst our town residents that's displayed at this time. I'm open to development, but in the places that is indicated in our town. Like I said, this would be a totally different conversation if this was owned industrial. So, in moving forward, the other thing I asked Stacy was one of the meetings that she was at. I asked her for a copy of the study where you guys identified the Delapana property as the best place in Broome County to locate a 300-acre industrial park. We have not received that yet. I also asked for the study where Stacy claimed that this project was going to generate 2,500 to 3,000 jobs, which is essentially half to a little over half of the population of my town coming to work there. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see the studies, and we have not received that as yet. So we did file a FOIL request several months ago regarding the information from you guys. We've got a substantial amount of information. Matter of fact, I'm still going through it. It's a lot of information, but some of those things weren't included in that. And I'm asking this board to please provide that to my town. So What do you guys say? I mean, you got a perfectly good attorney sitting there.
No, more than.
So this is an opportunity.
Really isn't a question and answer session.
I would like to
This is
just
your time
address,
to have
yeah,
something to
I
say.
can address, Art's question on those studies, and I did bring that back. Our council is reviewing both of those two studies for any potential proprietary work of the contractors we used. So I know you are still waiting, so I do acknowledge that we have not sent, but we do have council reviewing all materials.
And thank you for
And
and thank you for the ISO report.
Oh, our
That was
pleasure.
very interesting.
Our pleasure.
Very interesting report.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. Yours,
Absolutely.
Mia.
Oh, Mina,
Mina
yes,
sent it to me like the next day.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
our pleasure. So yeah, so we will get back to you on those. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't any proprietary work from our
Were that
vendors.
something directed to the town in general or just myself? When you're
I can send it to you or the full town, probably.
If you could please send it to the full
Sure.
board, I'd appreciate it.
Sure.
And I'm good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Would anybody else like to speak at this public comment session? We'll call the session to a close. Executive Director's report, Stacy.
I am just going to update you on, the reason I was a little late this morning. I had the opportunity to represent the organization at, Congressman Molinaro's first Room Next Chapter Roundtable. The roundtables are set up to, bring both private and public sectors together, various kinds, to discuss some of the most pressing and economic and community development goals over the next several years. It was a nice opportunity to hear from several companies that participated on the panel. We ended up talking a lot about site development and energy, as well as opportunities to work more collaboratively. So we are going to work with the office to address topics such as housing, childcare, small business development, et cetera, in the future. So it was an interesting discussion. Thanks to the board members who were able to attend.
Perfect.
That was it.
You've all had a chance to look at the internal financial reports as of July or for the period ended July 31st. Are there any questions for Stacy or Natalie? Silence. Loan activity reports. You've had a chance to review those. Are there any questions relative to that report?
John, I did just want to point out that Odyssey Semiconductor Technologies has paid off their loan in full.
Thank you. No further comments on that. We're going to move item number 10 to the top of the order because our representative, Mr. Pavia, right?
Yes,
Is
correct.
pressed for time in light of our starting this meeting as late as we did. So resolution 10 is a resolution accepting draft scoping document for generic environmental impact statement pursuant to secret.
Yes, so as lead agency, one of the required next steps for us is to issue what is called the draft scoping document for the New York State Environmental Quality Review. This draft scoping document essentially outlines the areas of study that we will conduct over the next several months. If you go through the table of contents, you will see there are a myriad of topic areas and I won't read through them all, but there's quite a few here. Most in the goal of seeker and the draft scoping document is to identify areas of review where potential, and this is seeker language, potential adverse impacts could be found. And if so, how they would be mitigated. So it is required that the board approve this draft scoping document, which enables us to then release it to the public. So after the board action today, this will be provided as required to all interested and involved agencies for New York State seeker, including the Town of Maine Board, the Town of Union Board, and their planning boards, as well as a myriad of other state and local planning agencies, Department of Transportation, Health, et cetera. This will also be posted on our website. We will send this out via those that have subscribed to our email with a link to how to access this. I will leave you a copy to take with you today, Art, if you want to just take one today. We also issued a press release, or is going out immediately following to let the community know that this is available. One other item related to this is we have secured our date for our first required public hearing, which will be September tenth at Main Endell High School, I believe starting at 6:30. We have just issued the required public notice for that. And that will also be included, all that information on the website. So any questions, I'm happy to answer. If they get too technical, I'm going to turn it over to Frank Pavia, who is our seeker attorney through Harris Beach.
Thank you, Stacy. Thanks, Frank, for hanging
I'll
on
just make a
there.
comment.
Thank you for being a Tom Banks, sir.
Sure thing, Frank.
Yeah, I'll just make a comment that I can't even count how many of similar documents that I've had to read or review over the course of my career in different jobs. And, I've got to say that this was an excellent job. It was very thorough. And everything that was triggered in my mind as I'm reading it, I'd look a little further and there it was. I mean, it really seems to touch all of the bases. Anything that we would be concerned about, the residents would be concerned about. So I was really happy.
No, thank you, Elaine. Yes, EDR and Harris Beach. All right, we have great subject matter experts on the team, so thank you for that.
Is this a separate contract or is this under the umbrella?
It's under that,
of,
yeah.
Harris Beach umbrella?
Yes,
So, okay, so the
Yep.
cost of this is under the.
it's all included.
Structure.
Absolutely.
Any other questions or comments? Is there a motion?
Can I just add?
I guess there's not a.
Can I
motion.
just add one of the other things? I think it's important to note that there's also a required public comment period. So that's why I think we're important to get this released to the public as well. So there is opportunities for public comment. I believe Frank, is it 30-day period for public comment for seeker?
We'll run 30 days, X number of days before the public hearing, and then an X number of days after the public hearing is held. We will receive all that public comment. It'll be digested by EDR in our office. And then we will be back before this board with a final scoping document that will incorporate the comments from the public as applicable. And then that will be adopted. And then EDR and Harris Beach will proceed in helping Stacy and her team preparing the draft generic environmental impact statement.
Thank you, Frank. And the public comment period begins Monday, August 26th. Correct, Frank?
Correct. The notice will be going out today to be published in the newspaper. We've confirmed that will be in the newspaper the 25th. The comment period will begin the 26th, and I believe it extends at least 10 days after the September 10th time period.
Just information for the board. Should you get any questions?
Anything else? Looking for a motion? So moved. Thanks, Jim. Is there a second? Thank you, Elaine. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Frank.
Thank you very much. And again, thank you for being accommodating.
Thank you, Frank.
Absolutely. Moving on to item number 6. Resolution accepting an application from the First Ward Action Council, Inc., the company, for a leaseback transaction to facilitate the financing of the construction, renovation, and equipping of property and buildings located in the city of Binghamton, Broome County, New York, to provide for a real property tax exemption in amount not to exceed $216,197 and authorizing the agency to set and conduct a public hearing with respect thereto. Stacy explained the project earlier. Jerry Willard is on with us and he offered some comments. Let me ask, is there a motion out of governance?
Yes, governance moves it forward as a motion to approve.
Mayor, thank you. Is there a second? Thank you, Dan. Let's have a discussion. Any questions or comments or any further discussion on this? Let's have a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. Moving on to number 7, resolution accepting an application from the Raymond Corporation, the company, for a leaseback transaction to facilitate the financing of the modernization, renovation, and equipping of the properties and buildings located at 191 and 196 Corporate Drive in the town of Kirkwood, Broome County, New York, to provide for a sales and use tax exemption benefit in an amount not to exceed $1,448,000, to provide for a real property tax exemption in an amount not to exceed $380,110 and authorizing the agency to set and conduct a public hearing with respect thereto. Mayor,
Yes, governance moves it forward as a motion to approve.
thank you, Mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Joe. Any discussion? We've heard details on this project, this exciting project as well.
Is any of this started? You acquired the building already, right? Is any of the work inside started to?
I don't believe anything been inside done. I think there's been some sprucing done to the outside. I think there's gonna be a ribbon cutting coming up in a couple of weeks. I think there's been some sprucing done, but I don't think anything significant has been done.
And we confirm that none of that has been included in this. This is all moving forward mostly for the fit out of the space inside, the manufacturing space.
As I said, I think we polished the apple a bit on the outside to make it look more presentable for the upcoming.
You know what I'm referring to? This came up a couple months ago.
Yeah. Yep, and we
Very
did
good.
confirm.
Okay.
Yep, we asked that question.
Thank you.
Yep,
Everything on the application looks like it's all local and Lane, Gorge.
yes, it does. Yeah, I believe Lane and Gorick and a number of, yeah.
And Jay.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's good. That's just a
So we have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? Let's have a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. Item number 8, resolution. Item number 8, resolution authorizing the agency to contract with Cook's Tree Service to trim back all trees and remove overgrown trees and bushes up to the fence on the agency's property located at 162 Edwell Street, Johnson City, Broome County, New York, at a cost of $15,400 pursuant to the estimate dated July 10th, 2024. We've heard about the details of this, Mayor.
Yeah, governance moves it forward as a motion to approve.
Thank you, Mayor. Is there a second? Thank you, Dan. Any further discussion? Other than Dan's offer to do it for life. Let's have a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. And Dan, thank you for the offer. Item number 9, resolution approving an extension of the September 1st, 2021 sales and use tax exemption agreement with Spark JC LLC from August 18th, 2024 through and including August 18th, 2025, the total of which shall not exceed $3,093,333. Mayor?
Governance moves it forward as a motion to approve.
Thank you, Mayor. Is there a second? Elaine? Thank you. Any further discussion or questions on this? Let's have a vote. All those in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? That concludes our, do we go into
We
executive
do,
session?
yes, executive session related to the acquisition of property and personnel, related.
Oh, it's Stacy.
Sorry.
I wasn't sure if we had, okay. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
Motion.
Thank you, Dan. Is there a second? Thank you, Elaine. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Let us move that way.